Social media impressions do not equate to television ratings, and they damn sure don't translate to ticket sales. The media can continue framing this narrative that Angel Reese is driving the WNBA's growth, but once again, we have data that proves Angel Reese is not a draw.
Angel Reese was supposed to save the WNBA, right? Well, ticket sales just fell harder than her eyelashes in the fourth quarter. The league hyped her up like she was Beyonce in a headband, but turns out nobody's showing up. So why is the WNBA still acting like she's their golden goose? Did someone forget to check the receipts? Stick around, because what's happening behind the scenes is funnier than a missed layup in an empty arena.
And it's a shooting efficiency list. Unfortunately for Angel Reese, she's dead ass last, and I'm not kidding you, in this list of players.
Angel Reese, the self-declared it girl of the WNBA, has somehow managed to rack up more merch drops than actual wins and more TikTok dances than ticket sales. If delusion were an official stat, she'd be an all-star MVP. Every game feels like a live audition for another sponsorship deal rather than a battle on the court. Her PR team deserves a championship ring for keeping the hype alive. Meanwhile, Reese continues to convince us she's the future of women's basketball, even though her most loyal fan base seems to be her reflection.
I'm talking about certain women around the league that have a problem with this girl performing at the level that she does. Instead of being on social media and be like, look at me, Barbie, and not putting no work in, missing 455 layups and receiving 500 and some fucking rebounds, doesn't make you good. Sitting on a fucking TV and being like, I understand you guys watch basketball, it's not just for her, it's also me, you know, you watch me miss my layups. I got packed stadiums.
Let's just address the elephant-sized ego in the room. Angel Reese was supposed to be the draw, the WNBA's box office queen, the headline act, the walking highlight reel. The media hyped her like she was the second coming of LeBron in lashes, with the kind of rollout that made it seem like the Chicago Sky had signed Beyonce and Oprah's love child. But in reality, ticket sales are flatter than her post-game interviews. The buzz fizzled faster than a warm soda. She's been dodging more questions than defenders, and for someone touted as the league's savior, she's barely moving the needle.
On the flip side, Chicago Sky's Angel Reese found herself at the very bottom of the list, sitting at 30th, with a true shooting percentage of just 46.4%. The contrast between the two rookies, both with massive college followings and major fan bases, ignited strong reactions online. Clark's game has translated well to the pros. Her shooting from deep remains a threat, 33.9% from beyond the arc. She was 13th in the league, while her mid-range and inside games are just as effective. She ranked 4th in two-point field goal percentage.
Take the now infamous preseason LSU homecoming event. Oh yes, the triumphant return of Baton Rouge's basketball queen. You'd expect a packed house, confetti, maybe a few fireworks. Instead, crickets. Literal crickets might have outnumbered the fans. The stands were so empty, you could have used the arena for a yoga retreat. LSU had more spirit during finals week. Angel strutted in like it was prom night, only to find out no one wanted to dance. The silence was deafening, but hey, at least the cardboard cutout seemed interested.
This is your star? This is who the media claims is elevating the WNBA? This is who the media has spent the last year wasting time trying to convince us that Angel Reese is responsible for elevating the dump? The same Angel Reese that could not sell out home games when she was at LSU. The same Angel Reese that struggled to sell tickets last year with the Chicago Bravado. The same Angel Reese that could not give away free tickets to her immaculate homecoming a couple of weeks ago at LSU. You're trying to convince me she is responsible for the growth of the WNBA?
But let's not pretend this was an isolated incident. Fast forward to the upcoming showdown, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky. A matchup that, on paper, screams drama. Two young stars, media attention, the makings of a modern rivalry. Except there's one tiny inconvenient truth. The fans aren't coming for Angel. They're coming for Caitlin Clark like it's Black Friday and she's the last flat screen TV on the shelf. Ticket sales skyrocketed, and not a single soul went, "Oh boy, I can't wait to see Angel Reese at a moving screen."
Angel Reese has a monster motor, and she'll gobble up double-doubles just off effort. But what I really like to see is her putting in work on her jumper, because Barbie getting buckets is going to be a real problem.
Deep down, Angel knows it. You can see it in her eyes every time she pretends not to hear a question with the words Caitlin and Clark in it. That moment when a reporter tried to ask her about Clark and she hit them with the classic, "Did someone say something?" Energy. The silence, deafening. The insecurity, palpable. The pettiness, off the charts. If eye rolls were points, she'd be averaging a triple-double. You'd think someone allegedly at the center of a sports renaissance would be cool, calm, collected. Maybe even a little gracious. Instead, Angel treats Clark's existence like Voldemort in the first Harry Potter book. She who must not be named. The mental gymnastics required to avoid even acknowledging her is Olympic level. What's next? Pretending the fever don't exist? Scheduling a root canal every time Indiana's in town?
Angel Reese goes the first 2 preseason games, and then this most recent preseason game. Well, the highlight tape from this most recent preseason game is awfully reminiscent to the Angel Reese that we saw all last season. Roll clip.
And oh, the Chicago Sky. Bless their hearts. They've tried so hard to spin this Angel Reese narrative into something marketable. It's giving please clap energy. From awkward promo videos to hashtags that aged like warm milk, the PR machine is working overtime. Meanwhile, the actual turnout suggests most fans would rather watch paint dry, assuming the paint occasionally drops 30-foot threes and dishes out no-look assists, which, spoiler alert, isn't Angel Reese's game. She talks about being a role model, and maybe she is, for how not to handle rising stardom. When Caitlin Clark got elbowed in a preseason game, fans rallied, discussions exploded, and suddenly, the WNBA had more mainstream attention than ever before. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's highlight reel looks like a compilation of missed layups and attitude. If clapping back on Twitter were a professional sport, she'd be a Hall of Famer. But back to that Fever Sky game. The hype is real, but again, it's Clark driving it. She's the one moving merch. She's the reason ticket resale prices are climbing like a SpaceX rocket. Angel Reese is basically the warm-up act who thinks she's the main event.
She seeks that attention, right? And another thing is, it's obvious she's jealous of Caitlin. Every interview, every tweet, everything is about Caitlin. I haven't yet to see Caitlin even respond to her yet. Have y'all?
No.
So when you asking me like, yo, I get it, everybody's watching women's basketball now, who's the real reason? Well, yes, you are right. Reese has a small amount of that, right? But the other real credit goes to Caitlin, not just because what she's doing outside the court and she's waving her hand, doing all that. It's because she's giving buckets in basketball, right? And she looks like Steph Curry. And that's simple.
And let's not forget, the scoreboard might technically say Chicago, but let's be real, this is Caitlin Clark's court. That arena is going to be flooded with Clark jerseys, Clark signs, and Clark superfans who've practically made her a religion. Angel Reese's mom might be the only one in the building cheering for the Sky, and even she might feel a little outnumbered. This isn't shade, it's basic arithmetic. Clark's fans don't just show up, they show out. They travel like Swifties on a world tour and scream like it's 1964 and the Beatles just landed at JFK. And then there's Angel Reese, who's treating this game like a televised therapy session for a one-sided rivalry. Let's be honest, this was never about her. It's Clark's world, and Reese could have been a co-star. She had the chance to lean into the moment, smile for the cameras, sell the rivalry, and become part of something bigger than herself. But instead, she went full petty, ducking questions, avoiding eye contact, and pretending like she's above it all. That's not a flex. That's a fumbled PR bag in full glam. While Clark is smashing records, Angel's out here playing emotional dodgeball.
Consistency and being confident and just being efficient and just being able to be myself. And like I was saying, like Not worrying about anything else but me and just trusting the process. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, don't be expecting me to come down and shoot 6-7 threes a night. Like, obviously that's what I'm working on, but like,
last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
next question?
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you. Move on to Zoom.
And let's not forget the preseason circus, that magical time when the WNBA decided to rebrand Angel Reese as the second coming of sliced bread, only with more glitter and forced empowerment hashtags. They rolled out the full red carpet, slick ads, glowing interviews, dramatic promo reels. Angel was everywhere, from billboards to ESPN puff pieces, all while barely touching the court. They pushed her like a product nobody asked for, hoping the hype would magically morph into ticket sales. Spoiler alert, it didn't. The only time the box office woke up was when Caitlin Clark's name appeared on the schedule without her. Trying to sell Angel without Caitlin was like trying to market diet water, technically a product, but no one's spending money on it. Even her teammates look like they're walking on eggshells. You can feel the tension through the screen, like they're silently asking, are we allowed to say the C word? Or will Angel Baby Giraffe jump stare us into next week? Team chemistry? Please. It's more like a group therapy session where everyone's too afraid to speak. Every post-game presser has the same vibe. Forced smiles, stiff praise, and all the energy of a hostage video filmed in stunning 4K.
Angel Reese, preseason, part 2, let's get it! What they say about layups, harder than nuclear physics. Bang! She's a point forward now, and nobody's more excited than opposing defenses. Time for the vintage underhand scoopity shot from 3 feet. Yep, there it is. Bang! Out to McDonald's, sponsoring the first ever fry cook in the WNBA. Bag work is off the dollar menu, man. What is this junk? Bang!
And of course, the fans notice. People aren't stupid. They see who's putting up the numbers, who's drawing the crowds, and who's acting like she's the villain in a poorly written Netflix drama. The narrative is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is the show. Angel Reese is the subplot that got extended out of pity. But perhaps the most hilarious part of this whole situation is Angel's apparent refusal to acknowledge reality. There's a fine line between confidence and delusion, and Sis pole vaulted over it. She's walking around like she's running the league, while actual game attendance tells a different story. Her fans are louder online than in any actual stadium. It's giving bot army. Her latest attempt at relevance? Merch, lots of merchandise, shirts, hoodies, water bottles, maybe a scented candle for the stands. Because when the on-court stats aren't enough to draw attention, nothing screams desperation like a Reese mode hoodie at $60 a pop. It's the athletic equivalent of selling MLM skincare products to your Facebook friends.
Caitlin Clark, in 23 minutes of play, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. In 23 minutes, Caitlin Clark already shows all of us who are watching along, stay tuned, folks. Multiple triple-doubles are coming this season. You guys saw what I did in 23 minutes. Wait until I'm playing 30 plus. Wait until I'm playing 35 minutes. Wait until my chemistry with my teammates are all the way there. Wait until Stephanie White fine-tunes this offense around me a little bit more, tweak something here, tweak something there, and we get really into the swing of things. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, an Indiana Fever fan, you gotta be happy with what you're seeing from Caitlin Clark. There is no sophomore slump.
Angel brings energy, they say with a straight face. Translation, she yells a lot and gestures like she's coaching a WWE match. Then there's the classic, Angel has passion, which is code for she racks up technical fouls like she's auditioning for the role of Dennis Rodman in a biopic. It's all part of this strange performance where everyone pretends swagger and skill are the same thing. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here being praised for actual basketball essentials, court vision, shooting range, and a basketball IQ that practically requires its own GPA. That's not a jab, that's a resume. Trying to compare the two is like holding up a flashlight next to a floodlight and insisting they shine just as bright. But here's Angel Reese, walking into interviews with the confidence of someone cashing a check she hasn't earned yet. Her whole persona seems built on attitude, not altitude. And that's a problem when the air up there demands performance, not just posturing. You can't ride the wave of hype forever when your surfboard keeps nosediving into reality. Eventually, the scoreboard does the talking.
Folks, do you remember this clip? The clip heard around the world. The clip that will be following Angel Reese for the rest of her career. As long as her games don't sell out, as long as her games don't attract a good number of celebrities, as long as her games don't have any type of viewership motion, for lack of better terms, as long as all those three facts remain the same, this clip is going to follow her forever.
Of course, the WNBA's PR machine is working overtime to keep the narrative from collapsing in on itself. Two rising stars, a new era of women's basketball. They cheer, like a cheerleader trying to distract from the scoreboard. But fans aren't buying the spin. They've already made their choice, and it's not even close. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie, she's a phenomenon. At this point, you could dress her in a potato sack, toss her on the court, and she'd still outsell Angel Reese in full glam with a custom logo and backup dancers. But Angel's playing it cool. Real cool. Like frozen peas in the back of the freezer. Kinda cool. She's ducking Clark questions like she's dodging charges, pushing sweatshirts like they're career stats, and posting like the fans are logging on for her. But while she's in her Instagram bubble, reality's hitting hard. Indiana Fever games are sold out wall to wall. The Chicago Sky, meanwhile, are hoping someone on Groupon still remembers they exist. The gap between fan perception and PR fantasy is now wider than one of Angel's clunky missed mid-range jumpers, and widening by the day.
All right. I mean, we have to bring up attendance and ratings daily. Seriously, we do. Why? Because this kind of crap keeps happening. So, Angel Reese was asked about this exact statement, and she decided to duck it.
So yes, Angel Reese may still think she's the draw, the name on the marquee, the headline act, the reason fans supposedly pour into arenas. She struts with the confidence of someone who believes the spotlight follows her wherever she goes. And sure, she brings drama, flair, and a little bit of that reality TV energy to the court. But here's the inconvenient truth. The fans, the ticket sales, the energy in the air, they're all speaking a completely different language. One that's spelling out a name that isn't hers. Just take a look around. Empty arenas trail behind her like a bad stat line, while Indiana crowds light up like it's Game 7 every time Caitlin Clark steps on the court. The numbers don't lie. The merch doesn't lie. The TV ratings, the sold-out seats, the electric buzz every time the other number on the scoreboard goes up, they all point in one very obvious direction. And the funniest part? Angel Reese knows it. She's fully aware of who's actually packing the seats and making headlines. She knows who the real star is, and that knowledge, it stings more than any loss.